Welcome to the Wise Doula podcast, a place for informative, uplifting, and educational conversations. Here we will discuss everything connected to the parenting journey, from conception and birth to postpartum and beyond. You are amongst friends here. This is a place to share our common wisdom and learn together. So go ahead, grab your favorite drink. Remember, not caffeinated if you are expecting, and join me inside. I can't wait to speak with you. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Wise Doula podcast. Today, we are talking about the postpartum period. And I want to start by painting a picture in your mind, okay? So think of a circus tent, big circus tent. And there is a long line of people. And there is a circus performer standing by the tent going, "Come inside, one and all. Come and see. Get tickets for the biggest show on earth. Come on in. Come on in. All are welcome." And once you walk inside, you see that the biggest show on earth is a postpartum family. Come on over, observe, be mesmerized by what's happening with the postpartum family. There is a new baby. There is the mom, there is the dad, or the birthing partner, the other partner. Look at them, observe them, investigate them, research them, enjoy. You're listening probably going, "Marta, we would never do that. We would never put the postpartum family as a circus attraction, right?" We wouldn't. However, in life, sometimes, we do treat the postpartum family a little bit like a circus attraction. Okay? And we're going to talk about why that happens and how to find a balance between that and completely sort of ignoring the new family, because that also happens. So we'll talk about those two extremes. But first, let's think about what's happening in postpartum. We have a new baby, and listen, everybody gets ready for birth, right? Everybody's like, birth is coming. I have the room set up. We have all the little clothes. The baby shower is done. Everything is great. I know where I'm giving birth. I'm going to the hospital. I'm going to home birth, whatever. And you are super ready, or for the most part, you're ready. Your partner is ready. Everybody feels ready. And nobody truly plans for postpartum. We kind of think it's a given. I'll just come home with the baby and we'll figure things out. And figure things out you do, of course, because you have to. But the postpartum is more than that. And it's a curious thing when I encounter pregnant mothers expecting families. And I say, "Well, how is it going? You know where you're going to give birth, etc." Yes. Childbirth preparation classes. Yes. Have you done postpartum planning? What's that? Okay, postpartum planning is as important as birth planning, okay? The time before the baby arrives is the time to sit down with your partner and talk about what things are going to look like when that baby comes. Make sure the arrangement we have in the baby room is conducive to the activities we're going to be doing with that baby, right? Which is feeding and sleeping when they're very, very young. Make sure we are on the same terms as a couple. How are we going to both make sure that we're spending time with the baby, etc.? So there is a lot of planning that needs to happen, because the time to plan for postpartum is not when you're coming home with your baby, is before. So that's one of my, sword fights right there. It's telling expecting families how important postpartum planning is. Now, why do I say sometimes we treat the postpartum like a circus? Well, it's because, of course, we're excited to meet the new baby. Of course. we're like thrilled. We can't wait. So the parents come home, and we are eager to meet that baby. We cannot wait. Oh my goodness, let's meet the baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. And we tend to forget that the parents have gone through a major life change. The mom has gone through a major physical and emotional change. Okay. We have hormones that are, still in the pregnancy state, where hormones are, doing the work they need to do during pregnancy. But now those hormonal levels are starting to come down and regulate differently, because the postpartum has different needs than pregnancy. So we have that. We have emotional well-being. It's a really difficult time because there are a lot of emotions, there are a lot of changes. Sometimes there can be challenges too, challenges with the mom's emotions, challenges in the relationship with the couple. So all of that is there. There is sleep deprivation. Let's not diminish how important sleep is. Any of you, and I can talk for myself too, any of us that have lost sleep or significantly been deprived for days at a time, we can tell how hard that is on our body and our psyche. We don't even know what we're doing. We are half functioning. So that's also a challenge of the postpartum period. Then learning the language of this baby. What does this baby need? How should I work with this baby? What should I do? I don't know. This baby's crying. I have no idea what the baby needs. Oh my goodness. This is my first baby. I don't know what's going on. Or this is my second baby, but this baby behaves completely different than the first one. Or, oh, the baby has a little bit of colic. Or, oh, feeding is not going like I thought it was going to go. Maybe it's breastfeeding or bottle feeding that is not going like you were expecting. There are a lot of challenges, right? Then let's look at the partner or the dad. There is a huge change in roles as well. Okay. He now is adapting to a new role. The couple is adapting to a new role. They're no longer just two people interacting with each other. There is somebody else in that equation, from two to three. And so there are changing roles for the partner too. And depending on of course, if it's a male partner, we have a lot of changing roles there, right? The provider, the protector, etc. So there is a huge adaptation that is happening for both members of the family at this point, if there are siblings involved as well. What ends up happening is that in our joy, our eagerness to visit, to spend time with that baby and those new parents, sometimes we just all descend upon them like birds of prey, right? Like, let's go. Wow. You know, and the reality is these parents are tired, they're exhausted, they don't feel like seeing people. But at the same time, they feel guilty if they don't welcome their family, their relatives, their friends to the house to see the baby. So we have that dichotomy. We have a little bit of that. I know what my baby needs, what I need, but society tells me I have to perform, I have to be sociable, I have to be appreciative of the people that are coming to see me. So there is both understanding the needs of themselves and the baby, and also having that guilt, that they have to perform, that they have to take care of the visitors. And of course, that's human nature. That's absolutely natural. So we have people that descend upon the postpartum family like birds of prey in their joyful excitement to see the baby. And we have other group of people that do quite the opposite. They just don't show up. Okay? They just don't show up. Oh no, we're not gonna bother them. But the reality is that the new postpartum family still needs support, still needs companionship, needs encouragement, needs love, needs closeness, needs to feel that nurturing. So, where do we find that middle ground? We find that middle ground when we ask and we engage in communication and in dialogue with this new family. Okay. So, we simply ask, how are you doing? Is there a good time to come visit the baby briefly? We will not be staying long. Um, do you prefer that we visit in a few weeks? That we visit this weekend, that we don't visit for a while? Or do you prefer that when we visit, we will meet at another location once the baby is a little older? You can ask those questions, right? And you can say, I'm very eager to meet this baby. I want to meet this baby, but I want to be respectful and um, I want to be respectful and I want to be considerate of everything that's happening and all the adjustments that you both have to make to this new baby. Now, when it comes to family, it's a little harder because I think a lot of us find it easy to set boundaries with our friends, maybe not so much with our family because of that fear of confrontation that we all have. And so with family, it can be a little tricky. What I recommend to my clients in this case is that you have a signal between the couple for, it's a gesture or it's a keyword that you've both agreed upon. And when this gesture or this keyword or this key phrase is said, you know, your significant other knows that that's the sign to gently start inviting those visitors to move on with their day, let's say. So very important to have that agreement. As a new mom, never feel that you're obligated to entertain guests when, let's be honest, you are leaking, in many occasions, you are leaking from multiple places, right? You're bleeding. There is bleeding after birth. You are crying a lot of times, and your breasts are leaking too. So we have liquid coming out of everywhere. And we have a very vulnerable time emotionally, physically, as a couple, etc. So as a new mom or second time mom or third time mom, but especially as a new one, never feel that you have to perform as if you were a circus performer for all these people that are coming to visit. And even with family, it's okay to say, we love you, but right now this is a vulnerable time. We would really love it if you guys came to visit for a short time, but then also gave us time to adjust to the baby and etc. Or when you come, could you stay and visit with the baby for a little bit and then the other rest of the time possibly help us with grocery shopping or things we need to do? Okay, so that's really important. So ultimately, ask yourself, what is it that this new couple, the new parents really need? Do they need alone time? Okay. Do they need help with meals? Do they need help with feeding the baby? Do they need for you to sit with the baby while they take a much deserved shower? Do they need help with groceries? Or did they have a difficult birth and all they need is for you to come for a little bit and sit with them, put your hand on their shoulder and say, I'm here if you want to talk about your birth, if you want to talk about what's going on with the baby, I'm here. But always approaching it from that perspective of asking first and seeing what it is that they need. A lot of times it's just saying, I'm here. I don't want to impose on you. I know the baby just got home. Let me know when you would like some visitors. And if there is anything I can do in the meantime, definitely let me know. Another thing that happens with these postpartum visits is that we might have groups of friends that avoid the situation altogether and don't even visit. Okay. Or when they visit, they want to kind of stay in the surface, a little bit like, oh, the baby's so cute. How are you doing? Oh, you're doing good, right? The baby is good. Everybody's good. And the mother might be trying to say, yes, but I had a really challenging birth. I had this situation that really affected me. And people are going, oh, but that's okay. That's nice. I mean, not nice, but that's okay because, the baby's fine. So you're fine. That could be the opposite case. We could be a bit overpowering as visitors and a bit, like intense. Or we could be totally like laid back and be like, oh, yeah, well, as long as the baby's okay, you're okay. When you go to visit, when the parents say it's okay to visit, go and truly, truly listen, okay? Spend time with them. Don't ignore them. Don't leave them alone. Don't act like whatever. The baby's out. Everything is hunky dory. See what they truly need. Because what we need the most in this world is we need companionship, we need support, we need to feel safe, we need to feel loved, we need to feel that we are part of a community. And all of those things don't happen in isolation. And also think about something. Think about the great incidence of postpartum mood and anxiety disorders that happen. Okay. There is postpartum depression, there is postpartum OCD, there is postpartum anxiety. There is a myriad of different things that can happen in postpartum. Just because you just had a baby and you're going through the postpartum period, it doesn't mean you're going to experience those. But a lot of people, both the people that gave birth, the moms, and their partners, definitely experience those. And a big part of those is that, if somebody's struggling and they're sitting at home in isolation and they're feeling overwhelmed about this new baby and they feel that they're not a good mother, they feel that they're failing or a good father, you know, um, and they have no support from the circle around them, that can really make that situation even worse. Now, of course, we're not going to go and pry, oh, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. But it's not a prying. It's actually an offering of support. It's actually, first of all, like we said, it's that phone call. Are you okay getting visitors? Would it be helpful? If we go, we're not going to stay very long. Once you're there, what can I do for you? How can I support you? What do you need help with? If you're not quite sure what you need help with, I'll just sit here and listen to you. Talk to you. Talk to me about anything you need to talk about. Sometimes we don't even know what we need to talk about. But when we have a comforting presence of a friend or a close relative sitting with us, words start pouring out of us, right? Just like a fountain, they start pouring. And so that is where the real beauty resides. As a professional, for me, if I'm working with a postpartum client and the postpartum client is expressing some concerns about their mental health or their physical health, that for me is a flag that tells me, okay, this is a good opportunity to suggest that they visit their doctor or to mention that there are resources available to them as far as mental health, if they need to make use of them. So that's a big part of what I do as a postpartum doula. But of course, I am just one person, right? Just because a family hires me as a postpartum doula, it doesn't take away from the fact that they appreciate their friends and relatives coming to visit. Just remember, don't overstay your welcome. Don't just go in there trampling like you're going to a circus show. Always ask first. Just a quick visit is okay. You don't need to stay for a long time. And also read the room, read the cues. And please do me a favor and ask how everybody's doing. We have a tendency to ask about the baby because we focus on the baby. But let's ask how mom is doing, how dad is doing, how the siblings are doing. Okay? Because that birth of that baby didn't just happen to the baby. It happened to mom and dad. It happened to the siblings. It happened to the extended family. So very important to take that into account. So my homework for you is that, support your friends that just had a baby, be mindful of what they need, ask, engage in conversation, engage in communication, very important, and always find that balance between I'm going to visit for 2 hours, nope, and I'm just gonna give them a quick call and then disappear for a month or something like that. Find that balance in the middle. Find that balance where the gold mine resides, the gold mine of support and of love. And no instruction manual. None of us have the instruction manual. Well, I mean, as a postpartum doula, obviously I got trained. So, yes, I had a manual. But what I mean is no instruction manual per se. Simply ask, talk to them, listen to them, and be attentive to their needs and be attentive to what kind of support they are looking for. Okay, that's my homework. Okay, so a little hydration break. And moving on to our last two sections of the podcast for today. Our first section is called Word of the Week. And last week, I left you with an assignment to tell me about oxytocin. Okay? Oxytocin is a hormone that plays an important role in life, but also during pregnancy and breastfeeding. It's called the love hormone. It's present when we hug somebody, when we pet our favorite animal, when we make love. Yes, it is present in orgasm. And oxytocin plays a huge role in birth because it helps with the contractions to dilate the cervix. And it also helps contract the breast tissue and therefore helps with milk ejection. Okay, so the baby can breastfeed. And another very important function of oxytocin is the fact that it helps develop that bond, that bonding feeling between caregiver and baby, mom and baby. Okay? So that's oxytocin for you, and see how important it is. It's important throughout our life, but especially during pregnancy and postpartum. Okay. So I am going to leave you with a word for next week. So the word for next week's episode, and the one that you can already research, is called lochia. Lochia, Lochia. I will tell you that lochia is connected to the postpartum period, but you will have to do some research, and next week we will talk about it. And our final section is birth at the movies. So for this section, birth at the movies, we are going to talk about the movie The Follow-Up Plan with Jennifer Lopez. At this time, at the time of recording, I believe it's on Netflix. And in this movie, there is a scene, this single mom joins a single moms group. So that's wonderful. You really see the interactions and how supportive they are of each other. And then what ends up happening at the end is that there is a home birth. One of the moms is having a home birth, and all the other moms show up to support her. It's a bit of a comedic situation, okay, because Melissa McCarthy is playing the guide of the group and she's walking around with a drum and people are screaming, and it's made to be a bit of a comedy. But I love that it represents home birth, okay? However, because it's comedy, it's definitely exaggerated. So in an actual home birth, whether there is one person attending, two, three, four, there is a lot more silence, a lot more letting the mom verbalize what she needs to verbalize. There is communication between the midwife assistant, the doula, the mom, the partner. There is definite communication. And I don't doubt that in some home births there is music and drums. Of course, if you want that in your home birth, why not? But it's a more intimate, respectful, calm environment than what was shown in the movie. However, of course, the movie, it was very interesting that the movie showed, again, that support group and how that translated into the women coming into that home birth, you know? So I think for me, it talked about the importance of support groups and the importance of finding your tribe and not feeling alone in the birth experience, regardless of your circumstances. Okay, so that's my recommendation for this week. And the word of the week, you have your homework for you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions about what we discussed today. And I can't wait to see you next week. Bye for now. Hey, you have listened to the Wise Doula podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, everything we discussed today was meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. It does not substitute the advice of your medical provider. Would you do us a favor? Follow me on Instagram at LovingBellyDoula. Also, let me know what other topics you would like to see me discuss in this podcast. And please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platforms. Thank you so much. I will see you next week.